Good afternoon, everyone. Today I'm going to talk about good communication skills when it comes to being an effective leader. A leader is a person who guides or directs a group. There are many aspects to becoming a very great leader. To become a leader, you have to maintain and possess some of the most resourceful qualities possible. Having good communication skills is a very important factor when it comes to being a great leader. Communication is an exchange of information between people by means of speaking, writing, or using a common system of signs and behavior. When communicating, it is important to speak clearly and be able to convey your point. A lot of times we speak nervously, anxious, in a rush, and uneasy. There are many steps that can be taken when preparing to communicate. Sometimes it's best to just first calm down. Take a deep breath. Inhale, exhale, relax. Let your mind rest. Be prepared to speak clearly. And also, when you take a deep breath, that sometimes clears your lungs. It prepares your lungs to be ready to speak. So maybe speak for a length of time, such as 15 minutes, 20 minutes, sometimes even 30. It is also to practice pronouncing your words. Speaking slowly always helps you speak clearly. Also, expand your vocabulary. Expanding your vocabulary helps you gather your words to convey your purpose. Get a dictionary, learn new words, get an encyclopedia, take down notes to put it together in your speech with some of the new words that you have learned. Always think before you speak. Sometimes we think pausing, taking a deep breath during a speech is not right, but it's always important to think before you speak. Sometimes thinking prevents mistakes. There are some routines that you can use to learn how to speak clearly when communicating. These are some routines that you can just take in every time you have to do a speech. Take a deep breath. Think. Speak slowly. Inhale, exhale. Clear your lungs. Learn new words. Be prepared to speak. And wow your audience. Listening is a very important skill when communicating. Listening helps you to receive and understand messages while communicating. Listening is the core to communicating. Hearing and listening are two different things. Sometimes we get those two things confused. Sometimes we say, I hear, I heard her, I'm listening, I listened to her. But let's be clear, they're two different things. When you hear sounds, you hear noise, you hear somebody speaking in front of you. Listening requires you to focus and pay attention to the speaker. Listening helps you to understand their message. Listening helps you to understand what they're saying. You have to process it all. You have to think. You have to analyze. Listening helps you do those things. When it comes to communicating, whether you're in the audience or you're the speaker, it's also important to understand others most of all. And most of all, have respect. You have to have respect for others' opinion. You have to have respect for others' voice. You have to have respect for others' speaking. Respecting is number one when it comes to speaking and communicating with others. Your opinion is always not the best opinion. Their opinion is always not the best opinion, which is why it is important to respect others' opinion and voice and communication. When communicating, it is important to be aware of all your nonverbal communication. Your body language and eye contact is very important. because these signs can sometimes convey unwanted messages, which is a very important trait when it comes to communicating. Sometimes sending unwanted messages can get your message mixed up when it comes to connecting to your audience. Sometimes it can also send mixed signals. It can give the listener the believe or not to believe effect. Always be aware of your nonverbal communication, because you want your audience to get the same feeling that you feel when you're speaking, the same feeling when you got your background paper together, when you got your strategy paper together, when you got your point paper together. You want them to have that feeling. You want them to connect. You want them to understand during your speech. You want them to understand the overall message in your speech. Always remain focused on the subject at hand, which is important. Never sway away from your topic. Never sway away from your purpose. Always remain focused when speaking. I have a real life example in nonverbal communication. I was in a training seminar with my job. The speaker was clearly unenthusiastic about being there. She was uninterested. She also seemed tired. Most of all, I noticed she leaned on the podium when she was speaking. She also had no eye contact. She was not in touch with her audience. She was not trying to reach out on a personal level. And also, when she was speaking about positive things, about having morale, how to be positive on the job, how to be full of life. But I did not connect with her speech. I did not believe her, and I was not sure whether or not she believed herself. And this is why nonverbal communication is so important when it comes to communicating. You have to be aware of your body language. You have to be aware of your emotions when speaking. You have to be aware of your facial expressions. You have to be aware of your eye contact with your audience. You have to show what you're saying. You have to show what you're trying to convey. Your body language has to reflect your purpose in your speech. When it comes to maintaining great communication skills, when you are a leader, it is important to be open to change. You have to be able to take criticism and grow from it. You have to be able to take other people's opinion and join it in sometimes to make a better outcome of what you're trying to do. You have to be willing to take directions from appropriate, superior, and also understand it. Don't take it and just not learn from it. Always learn from everything you take from other people, no matter who it is. Change will also always be evident in life, which is why as a leader we have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to improve and change with time. Being a leader is just like evolution. You have to be willing to change. You have to be willing to learn new things, because life is always changing. People are always changing. Your surroundings are always changing. You have to be willing to change. There will also be times that you may be faced with stress and problems when becoming a leader and maintaining your communication skills. It is always important to take a deep breath, most importantly. You have to exhale. You have to exhale and inhale. Let it all out. Don't keep the stress in. Even though you have to deal with it, just don't let it stay in. Always be mindful that someone is always watching you. Always maintain confidence and think positive to come up with a great solution. Being a good communicator is the core to being a great leader. Communication is one of the most crucial characteristics that is needed when it comes to being an impactful leader. Even though we may feel as though change may not be a good impact on being a great communicator and a great leader, it is. Which is why it is important to change with a positive aspect.
Mom. 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 Mom.